So, welcome to Ricky B Talking. This episode is going to focus on relationships. We got a lot of questions for to answer today, and I know I've been gone, but I promise you, I'm going to be more consistent with this podcast. And I'm excited for you guys to learn more about me and my guest. And today, I have some special people with me because I do consider all these people friends, and I want them to introduce themselves.
I'm Andrea. Nice to meet y'all.
You have an Instagram or anything?
Oh yeah, hit me up at A Honeycombs. That's what they call me. I be on there. Just look for me. I got about 700 followers.
And that's all it takes.
Right.
Yes.
I'm a star in the making. Period.
Period.
I'm Deontay. You can hit me up on Instagram in the upcoming weeks.
Is it active? When it's
It's
gonna be
not.
active?
It's not
Just
on.
not.
upcoming week.
Okay.
Hello, I'm King B. It'll probably be active by the time y'all see this. So
Okay.
Oh, I'm Jalecia. Jalecia Farmer on IG. Jalecia Farmer. I am a realtor, so if you're looking for a house, hit your
Yeah.
girl up in the DFW area.
Come on, promo.
All right.
Okay. Y'all get a little bit of alter ego today. So I'm here as Keita. Not Keita. Well, Keita. We're going to even take Nikita out the equation. But you can find me on Instagram under Magic Baby. I will be tapping in on the therapist side every now and then because, with relationships, you got to keep it professional to an extent. The healthy side of relationships, we're going to say that. And other side, you can find me at the Resilient Therapist on Instagram.
All right. Awesome. So I'm so excited. So excited that I did not even prepare today like I normally do. I normally would have note cards and all of that type of stuff. But I actually was like, I'm just going to go in because I'm with friends and we're going to really talk like we would normally talk if we was at home. I mean, relationships is something that we talk about on a weekly basis. Like at some point, with as many friends as I have, we are talking about some fuck nigga or something that's going on in somebody's life. So I was like, I don't think I need that. I think we can wing it. I am going to answer questions. So before we start with any of the relationship stuff, I wanted to play a game because I just think it's fun.
Oh goodness.
And I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to read it and we're going to do whatever it says.
Not do what it say.
Pick another player to drink as much. Oh, that's nasty. No, I can't do that. We don't do that. It's
Close my
COVID.
mouth.
No, that's nasty. No, we can't do that. That's wrong.
What were you drinking? No.
Anything up here? Yeah.
Oh.
Oh no, that's boring.
Okay,
No,
why
okay.
would-
What kind of game
No, I
is
don't
this?
like that one either.
Right.
Cause they say like these are corny. I want something
Now,
good.
why didn't you go through the
But
questions
that corny may be
beforehand?
to you.
Well, because I want it to be natural. I didn't want to be picking cards. Everyone who still lives with their parents drink. None of us.
Y'all
None
wouldn't be
of
my
us.
friends if y'all
Nah.
did.
I was like 19.
Okay. I don't like any of these. Okay, I don't like
We're gonna
any
have
of
a
these
shot.
questions.
I know, we're going to have a shot because, I'm just.
Double
it-
misery. Okay, yeah, I don't like these. Let me ask this
You know
pile of
what?
questions.
It's-
In what way are we most different?
Wow.
mm.
Let me start with Andrea. In what way are we most different?
I have hair, and you don't.
I'm bald headed. Okay. Got it. Deontay.
I would say I'm an introvert. You're an extrovert.
That's a good
That's a
one.
good
That's a good
one.
one. Jalecia.
I really don't know.
Because y'all just alike.
No, I'm not mean anymore. I don't know.
I don't know either. We are
know,
really
we are just-
similar, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, he gives a little more grace.
Yes, I do. I do.
That's all I can think of. Then I do. I'm working on it.
Kita. It could be shallow. It could be. on the
It's gonna be
surface.
basic. You a man, I'm a woman. I'm still learning, Ricky, so I really don't know.
Right, and it could be.
Our
Look,
personalities seem very similar. The last
it
time we
does.
linked
I
up,
think we
so.
are very similar. We think a lot alike. I want to jump into some of these questions because honestly, these questions were really good, and I think we're gonna get into some deep stuff today. So one of the questions that we had today was, is it okay to be in a relationship with someone who has a different religion or belief system?
Oh, okay. Yes, it is okay.
Mhm.
I mean, it's okay because it's what you decide. But I mean, you gotta think about if you're gonna have kids together,
Mhm.
is this something gonna be long term? Are you open to converting your religion?
Mhm.
Those type of things.
I totally
Okay.
agree.
Yeah.
I
You totally
agree.
agree?
Especially with
I
the
totally
kid one.
agree.
Yeah.
Because you have to decide what are you going to teach the child if it's
Right.
different.
I mean, I wouldn't date anyone.
What did you say, Andrea?
We walk with the Lord over
Yeah, I
here,
was like,
baby.
yeah.
You need to
But
be
what if
covered in
it's
the blood.
but what if
Yeah.
it's like a different what if they believe in God, but they're just
But I feel
not
like it's a conflict, especially when you're like Christian. It's like they're gonna constantly be like wanting you to like believe in what they want to believe. Like I feel like it's hard to convert someone to be a Christian when they're kind of just believing in a higher power. If that makes sense.
I can't.
yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you just can't. I'm not converting.
I mean, I can't because I know I wouldn't convert, right?
Right.
And I know how strongly I feel in my belief system. So I don't think it could work for me only because I'm headstrong in what I believe as far as my faith.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't want to waver, or I wouldn't want you to waver either if we don't believe the same thing. That's totally okay. But I wouldn't want you to feel like you need to choose my side or I need to choose your side as
Yeah.
well. So I don't know. For me, it's a no for me, but I understand how that may not be a deal breaker for a lot of people.
Right. But I do think it is okay to date someone. It's just about personal experience, what you want in
Mhm.
your life. It is totally fine to do it.
You said
Yeah.
date. It's okay
Or
to
marry.
marry.
Be with
Okay.
someone in
Yeah.
any
I
capacity.
think you just have to communicate and set those
Right.
boundaries before going into the marriage to say, okay, this is my non-negotiables. I'm not dealing with, like you say, I'm not going to convert.
Right.
know,
Right.
Or I'm not going to do this. Or if we have a kid, I don't care. Or if we do have a kid, this is what I like. I just think as long as that communication line there, I think is manageable. I think it could work.
Have you ever dated anybody who had a different belief system?
I have.
I have.
I
What was
have.
their belief
It's
system?
hard.
Yeah, it was hard for me only because this person was downing my religion. For me,
Mhm.
For me, if you don't believe what I believe in, then that's fine. But just don't put down what I believe in.
That makes sense. And with yours, how was your experience?
We just had a lot of arguments. I feel like, when people say, "Oh, you're Christian, you're ignorant." The white man threw the Bible at you and this and that. Like that's how you kind of talk to me. So I'm like, how can we ever just coexist and date if you think that I'm supposed to believe that Christianity isn't real? He just believed in God, so he didn't really believe in like another religion. He just only believed in God. He used to be Christian, and I feel like I was just like, I can't do
Yeah,
this.
well, I don't know. I've never dated that. I mean, I've dated people who said they were Christians and they act like the damn devil. So that's been my experience. Is I date
tell
a
people
lot
all
of
the time, I'm Christian base.
yeah,
Christian
right,
base,
Christian
okay.
base. But I know a lot of niggas that are not that say they Christians, but they act like the damn devil, and they
That's
don't
true.
exemplify any Christian belief
Right.
at all. Besides
That's
the fact that
true.
they say I grew up in church.
And they go
Yeah.
to church on Easter.
They don't even
Only
go to
on
church on
Easter.
Easter.
Ooh,
because I-
and New
Not even
Year's.
on
Easter
the
only-
face.
and New Year's.
Right.
Not because I don't believe in Christianity as a whole
Mhm.
per se.
Mhm.
It's I just throw the base in there because I like for me, I'm
Mhm.
gonna fornicate. Like that's cross board.
And that's what I like
You
about
know
it.
what I'm saying? But it's just like to me, it's like when you live up to sometimes these titles,
Mhm.
it's like I know every day that I'm sinning in some shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
So it's almost hard for me to sit up and be like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, but then I know that I did this. I'm going to do this. Like,
Right.
so sometimes with myself, I've come to the conclusion, me and God good. They say he know what he had or what he made before we even know. So I'll be like, you already knew it was coming. We good.
You know my heart.
He know my heart. That's my favorite. So that's my version. But like, so I'm more open to people and their own ideas as long as, like I say, it's not affecting me and how I live my life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Yeah. Again, I think it would be I won't say I would never, but I think it would be really hard for me. But then I don't think it would be any different than what I've experienced already because I
Right.
have dated so many people who say they're Christians but don't actually act like a Christian.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's really no different than somebody who doesn't have your belief system at all because they're still, those morals and values are still not there. So I think I base relationships on morals and values. Like, where are you
Bingo.
gaining your morals and your values from? Because I mean, you can say you're Christian all day, but if you think it's okay that to like, have multiple partners or anything like that, like I don't get down like that. So it's like we're not gonna be able to work. If you believe in open relationships, we can't work. That's just how I am. There's nothing wrong with
It's a
that.
hard no.
Yeah.
For
Well,
me.
how do y'all feel about open
Hard
relationships?
no.
It's a hard.
How
it's
do
a
you
hard
feel about
no.
open relationships?
I'm just
Again,
single.
it's a hard no for
Yeah,
me.
it's a hard no.
Yeah, it's just I'm
No, thank
single. You
you.
do you. I
But
do
why-
There's
me.
too many
why-
germs.
Yeah,
like-
okay, so it's the
Yeah, it's
germs
hard.
for you.
Bacteria.
Yeah, it's the
Infection.
germs.
What is it for you?
That's nasty.
It's nasty.
I mean, like, what are we doing? It's not a relationship. It's just you do you.
I
do
just
me.
think
don't-
that at some point there's going to be conflict because
Absolutely.
as human instincts, like we gravitate and want the love and attention from a person.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, one person can maybe satisfy here, another person can satisfy there, and and it seemed okay so
Mhm.
far in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that at some point, the lack there of attention from one party is going to cause a friction here. Or you like this person for this reason. It's gonna, if say, of course, if it was two women, I guess if one can get pregnant and one can't, there's envy there. Like I think it just caused too much.
Yeah.
It's human instinct. So
Right.
it doesn't. I mean, people can play the money role and say all these things at some point, but it's no different than just even a one-on-one. Like you feel if I'm not getting attention from somewhere in the relationship in general, you're gonna feel away.
Right.
So it's the same.
Mhm.
So the fact that you can turn in home, I'm still gonna be mad because what if I want something tonight, but you in there with this bitch?
Right. That's the
That's
truth.
too much.
And then you know what? That's where I would never do an open relationship, but that I do see why people how people who are in open relationships try to, I guess, validate their beliefs is because they go, well, I'm in a situation where we know that we're dealing with other people, where most people are in situations where they believe they're in the situation with just only that person, and then they're actually not in a situation where it's monogamy. And for me, I just feel like the issue is as humans, we like attention. I think that's just like a human nature. We all like attention. But the problem is, as you get older and as you mature, you should be able to tone that down a little bit to where like your morals should kick in. Like, okay, I like attention, but I'm not going to go seeking somebody else because I haven't had sex with my partner in 2 weeks. So now I feel like I'm being neglected. So now I'm about to go outside of my relationship. So I don't know. I guess I can see their point. But for me, if I even think you're cheating, it's I'm going to leave because I just don't want anybody else taking anything that's mine,
Yeah.
basically.
But the thing
Yeah.
about open is you aren't cheating technically because you have an open
Right.
communication. So everyone understands the relationship and so there's supposed to be boundaries set and rules that are set in place to
Mhm.
avoid having those conflicts. But to your point, there's always going to be conflicts. I mean,
Always.
it doesn't matter if you go out to drink with your friend, you probably going to end up cussing each other out sometimes because there's just conflict in people. It happens. Even if you love them dearly, it's going to happen. But the whole point is boundaries and rules. And for people that make it work, it works and it can be successful, but it's about staying to those rules and being respectful of your partner, which I mean, when people cheat, they're not respecting you. So that's when the conflict comes in. So it's all about just your relationship and the way that you want to deal with it. Me personally, not so much, but hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the whole boundary thing. But for me, I feel like if you're already in an open relationship,
Mhm.
that's already an open door.
Mhm.
So it's a really fine line. And it's like, if you're already in an open relationship, somebody's going to cross that line because
Mhm.
somebody's going to say, okay, well, we already in an open relationship. So what's the point if, one of the rules might be, we have to be together,
Mhm.
and then somebody's going to cross that line one day and say, okay, well, you know what? No, it's okay this one time that I'm not with my partner because of X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
Or whatever. They'll try to make an excuse. So just like you
You
said,
already let me be with somebody else.
exactly,
Right.
it's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Right.
It's gonna happen.
Well, can you make
How
an
can you
amendment
set
to the
boundaries in an open
Like
Can you make an
before-
amendment to the rule?
Yeah, like, well, let's,
an amendment?
to the rule.
Make
you
it
know?
open.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't understand the open relationship thing because I feel like if you're gonna be in an open relationship, just be single and just be in a situationship? Like, just
Yes.
do you? So
Yeah.
why have the title if you're not going to perform what it actually takes to be in a relationship? And I guess that is kind of like me. I guess it is me judging a little bit because a relationship doesn't mean it has to be monogamous. But
Yeah.
in my terms of a relationship,
They have titles.
right?
Yeah,
but why have the
absolutely.
title? Like, what are you benefiting from if you're like? Are you benefiting from like the
Some people
financial
say it's
standpoint, or
financial.
like
social
the
aspects,
social? Like,
yeah.
or that you just love them? What you trying to say, Deontay?
Maybe
Almost like having a
emotional, you
threesome.
know?
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
have- I don't want a threesome.
But a
Just-
lot of them is a lack
can't
thereof
handle it.
something. Like he said, it could be emotional. It could be sex. Like some people may have a higher sex drive than others. Like I've heard like there's a lot of different variables on why people do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, just depends on what that may be.
I don't know. I just
Yeah, that's just-
for some reason I can't get into that. That's
No.
not me.
What
I
about
just,
having threesomes with
ooh,
your
that's a good one.
partner?
I've definitely
like
have,
with
Mama
your
don't watch
person
this
that you
part.
love, like the person you're in a relationship? Can you bring someone in a bedroom?
I've definitely have not with my partner, but
Like with your- yeah.
oh no.
Yeah, with
no.
my partner, I don't think I could. I would say that if it did happen, it would have to be something that would be later on down the line
Mhm.
in our relationship.
Okay.
And it's something that we just decide to do because we want to like spice up something, and we decide who that person is. You know, it's like a whole list of things that like I would go through. It's like a whole list of things.
Before we get to here, let's see.
Well, what is along later down the road? 'Cause
Yeah,
you
like
said,
what's that like?
yeah,
Right.
what's
What's later?
I mean, okay, so I mean, like if you've been together for, I would say 15 years. That,
oh yeah, that's
Oh, well,
later,
you're
later,
back
later.
together.
yeah, I mean, like
So basically,
15
you're saying like
years.
Let's just
spice
take a
it up,
30-day
like maybe it's time to
Yeah.
spice it up.
30-day break and do
I just, I
And it could be
couldn't.
sooner than that. It could be sooner than that. But
Right.
just to make sure that the relationship is really locked in, and to make
Uh-huh.
sure that y'all got each other.
I would-
Okay.
Well, could I do a threesome?
Don't
in
nobody want your old
single?
ass at 15.
Yes. Can I do a threesome
Are
in
you
a?
kidding
what
me?
you say?
Deontay gonna be hot shit.
They say that nobody wants your old ass in 15 years.
What? An
Well,
old
you
daddy.
didn't even hear her. That's
Deontay
about
gonna be
a
an
little
old
young-
daddy.
a little young
I got your back, boo. I got you.
Hey, 15 years. Hey, I'm gonna age like fine wine.
Right.
Baby, she got to be
It could be
25.
15 years, 15 days. I'm not having no type of nobody coming into my bedroom. Period. Point blank. But single,
I might
yes.
get jealous.
Single, yes, because I feel like
That's
I
what you
mean,
should do when you're single.
Right, because I mean,
Have
like, it's about.
threesomes? Y'all
I
are
mean,
wow.
You should live your
You
life
should
when you're single.
explore.
You should live your
You
life.
feel
when you're
if that's
single.
what you
I
want.
need to try that.
I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
try
can't?
it out.
No.
I don't think I can.
Because once I have sex with you, we go together.
Well, I can go with both of them.
If the sex is great.
It ain't no wrong with having two boyfriends.
I can go with both of them.
Once
It's
I give it
okay.
up, we go
What Carisha
together.
Well, who
say?
said two boyfriends? Maybe it's two girls.
Ain't
I
no
mean,
wrong with
maybe
that
two
either.
girls, but you
I
can-
don't want no twat.
But
Hey, you want to have a threesome with two men?
I don't want either. That's,
You don't wanna have
that's what I'm
none.
saying.
Yeah.
Like, so I have literally played this conversation in my head
Okay.
several times because it was like legit, like he was saying, like as you get older, you need to spice the relationship up. So I was like, okay, but I just can't see it because I'm not licking twat. I don't want her.
Oh
licking
yeah, I'm not
me.
licking twat.
no.
And then I don't
I mean, she
want.
can lick
I
me,
can't
but-
watch.
Is that a sound?
No, but I thought about that. But I was
Fucking
just like, that too. Like I can't watch her
I can't
get
watch
my
him fuck
man
her.
head. Right, because I just be like, I ain't gonna. I'm not no head doctor. I ain't gonna lie. So, bitch, you
Me
can't come in here
neither.
serving mine up. I'm doing me.
Better than you.
Speak for yourself.
I'm learning.
You know, and I broke my jaw
Maybe
in
I'd be
that
like,
car.
half edit. I don't want to do that.
I'm like, girl,
Find somebody else to
stop
do
on
it.
Right, I mean,
Find somebody else to
that's
do
the
it.
thing. Like, even in that car wreck, I was just telling y'all about. I broke my jaw, so that I like, we just got a lot going on over here. So, and then he better not touch her. Like, it just doesn't work for
Oh,
me.
you want some?
Like,
Yeah, don't touch
none
her.
of those parts.
Don't be looking at her.
This is-
Right.
y'all don't have to
I'm
be so
having too much
professional,
fun.
y'all.
None of those parts.
Yeah,
work
I'm 32
for me.
years old. I'm
I
professional.
tried that. I'm not doing that. And I've been beat that bitch up in the middle.
Oh,
of
gang.
Well, I'm not. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like single, yes, because I feel like none of y'all belong to me. None of y'all belong to me at this point. So I feel like it's about me in that moment. Like I would be the one inviting people into my bedroom, so it's about me. But I'm past that stage in life, to be honest with you, where like that sounds fun to me.
Yeah, we
Um,
aunties
I've-
now.
Right, because I've
Perfect.
already been there, done that. in my 20s in college, I was definitely doing whatever I wanted to do, whenever I wanted to do it. I'm not ashamed of it at all. I lived my life. And so now I'm ready for commitment, monogamy, and to be happy. I think that other stuff brings in confusion in your relationships. Like when you're bringing other people into your relationships, it can bring a sense of
You just open the door for the devil.
yeah, you opening the
To
door
come
for
in.
things to happen.
Yeah.
Like I have not seen an open relationship that has been healthy, and I have seen some, but I have not seen any that were healthy.
True.
I
Very
have
true.
seen.
Look, they actually know this someone personally.
No, I'm just saying, like,
do.
I have seen.
And I can see
some.
the grinning, okay?
No, I have seen some healthy. I have not seen a healthy relationship but that's not saying
Do you
anything.
feel like one person usually cares more, like when they get into their relationship, they think they can handle it, but they really can't handle the open relationship?
I mean,
part
I
of it?
think my personal opinion, I think that in any relationship, there's always someone who cares more,
Yeah,
and it just in general, even whether
Yeah.
it's open or not.
that's true.
well,
Right.
that's a good point
That's
that you
how
bring up.
situations-
Actually.
That's so
happen.
fucked up, though.
Well, no,
Because every
actually,
one night stand I tried to have,
Uh-huh.
I ended up in a situation or a relationship.
Really?
I've never
well,
had.
that's
a,
just because
I've
you got
only
some
had
good
two in my
twat.
entire life.
well, that's what I want to call it, but I've never any one night stand I attempted to have. It never was. It never.
They don't
ended
want to
up.
let it go after
So
that.
I've never had a one night stand.
They won't have
Mm.
it.
Well, I will say
Like
this,
people.
Deontay, you bring up a good point about the whole somebody always cares more in a relationship.
Mhm.
See, I don't actually think like that anymore because I feel like people just aren't honest about how they feel, right? So it's not, I think one person's always going to be more honest and transparent about how they feel than another person. I don't feel like there has to be somebody who cares more.
I think it's both.
I think it can be both. I
Yeah.
think it can be that somebody
Someone
genuinely
can love
is-
harder than the other.
I definitely
Mhm.
feel like that can be the case. And I've been in those situations where I've been on both sides where I've loved harder than the other person or where they love harder than me. But then I also have been in situations where both parties love hard, but only one person can communicate their feelings. So I feel like that is true, but I feel like that can go either way. Like I feel like some people just aren't honest about how they feel. So in your mind, you may think they don't give a fuck, and they actually do give a fuck because they're just not being honest.
But they may give a fuck, but just not as much as the other person.
But how
Right.
do you measure that? Like, cause I'm in marketing, so I'm
Like
always
if I'm
asking,
dating
like,
a
how
guy
do you
and
measure
he give
that?
up on me,
Actions.
that means he really did. I care
But-
more than he cared.
Yeah, but it all boils
Like, when
down
I
to
fuck
actions
up,
and
you know.
communication.
Yeah,
Yeah.
communication. You have to communicate how you
Yeah.
feel. I won't know that.
A lot of
But
people
it's
have
known
problems
that,
with
you know,
communication.
I mean, I'm gonna throw it out there. Men don't communicate well, so
They
a lot
do
of
not.
times.
That's true.
They
a
just
lot of
assume
time-
shit.
And then
Most
when
men
I
don't.
say
Yeah.
well,
Most men, because I
right.
do
Yeah.
actually.
True, but when I say
Ask
when I say
questions.
communicate well, a lot of times I mean detail more than I do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Men are not detailed, and
Mhm.
it's like
No.
they are straight to the point. It is what it is. I don't care about all the extra stuff. But for things to make sense to women, a lot of times we need those extra details because you can say I
Yes.
fuck with you, and to y'all that means well to me.
That don't mean
you know,
shit to me. I fuck with you.
Well, I mean, like if you ask,
Oh, that's what
that's
men say,
true.
though. I
You
was
fuck
like,
with me
fuck with
like
you.
what? The long way,
You
the
remember
short
when
way.
Florida
That's how you
told
fuck
me,
with
oh,
exactly,
We ain't where we were, but I fuck with you
exactly.
heavy though.
But that's what I mean. I was trying to give that exact example. Like, but we'll be like, well, what the fuck that mean?
Right, like I mean, it's gray area now. Like, what do you
Right.
mean you fuck
So
with me
like
heavy?
that's what I mean is there's like sometimes it's like you say the level of communication because I need you to explain in detail like
What does that mean? Thank you.
and a lot of times it's just a clear like what you mean, you know what I mean? I fuck with you, like, you know, I ain't fucking with nobody but you. That
But
don't
it's
mean
like
that you-
bullshit.
Ooh, I got so much to say.
Y'all gonna
I
hate me
like
for
that
this.
energy.
Y'all
Yeah,
gonna
that's
hate me
how
for
I
this.
wanna
nobody
hear
for that.
this.
I want to hear
Y'all
it.
gonna hate me for this. But I feel like that's just a certain type of man.
True.
Yeah.
Like the
Yes,
sons of a man.
Deontay.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Because I mean,
Pussy ass nigga.
It's
Oh, I'm
to me, so
sorry.
is that like-
I'm getting
Is that
upset,
like
y'all.
the same? You're a man. So is that like a man just saying, I'm just trying to keep you around? Like if I tell you I fuck with you,
Right.
you're not gonna really go too far.
Right.
You're not gonna do too much.
Exactly.
Like I know you care. So if I tell you I fuck with you, I fuck with you. But he's doing him.
Because I know you care
Mhm.
more. It's like we get back to our point.
When a guy know a woman care more, they know how to kind of manipulate. I feel like so as a man.
I feel like if a dude really cares about you, it's especially a heterosexual dude.
Mhm.
If he really, really, really cares about you, he's gonna put that shit out on the table and tell you.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Like I feel like a dude that really cares about you, all you got to do is just sit back and not talk, and he going to tell you everything you want to know.
Yes.
Like,
Or
for
show
real,
you.
for real. Yeah,
And,
or
and
show
I
you.
agree.
Yeah.
But I still think it lacks detail. Like, as far as us, that's what I mean. Like, as far as some of the things, like, I think you can be clear cut and get an understanding, but sometimes as women, we just want to know more for
Mhm.
whatever reason. So, not saying it's necessarily men's fault, is what I'm saying, but I just still think that there's a line where there's additional details that we need sometimes, the additional reassurance, I guess. we
Yes.
could
Right,
say.
And once I
right.
realize you can't give me that, I'm backing off. Like I'm not sitting there. I'm not.
And that's what I'm saying.
not
It
doing
may
it.
not even be their fault, the men's
Right.
fault. It's just the fact that we are wanting more and they feel like they've expressed completely, you know, I don't know how much
Like,
more
what
I
you
can
show me-
say to
Yes.
you. You know, like, this is what I fuck with you. But to them, it's not even necessarily, that phrase don't even necessarily have to be a fuck nigga. It can be most time, but I'm just saying, like,
Right.
general.
Yeah,
But
don't
they
have
to
to.
that means everything. Like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Like, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Well, am I a fuck nigga? Because that's how I talk.
Really.
But
Absolutely.
Andrea, no,
But
you've
that's
been no,
my point.
Andrea.
It doesn't necessarily
Andrea,
mean
that's
that
cap
can be
because
anyway.
Andrea's actually that's
That's
cap
how
because
I be
Andrea,
talking.
you might talk like that, but you are also a very like loving,
She out here
expressive
real
person.
Oh,
professional,
but I-
Right.
nasty.
She
no,
acted-
but I'm
right.
Andrea, I
I'm
met
loving
that
and
goddamn cat a while ago.
expressive.
I don't even know this fucking voice she in right now.
Right. Now, she did get up
I
there.
ain't say nothing. I ain't say nothing.
Corporate.
Yeah, right. Talk about,
I'm on
right.
camera. I got a brand to protect.
I understand.
Hey.
I told you. I got a
But
brand
at
to
the
protect
same
too. Let's
Uh-uh,
keep it
but that's how I
motherfucking
be
real.
But that's really how I be talking though. But I do
talking
show.
though. Mhm.
I show it in a different way.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
like you said, I'm expressive
Yeah.
with my actions. So I'm
Right.
a lovey-dovey person.
Right.
But like that's how I really be talking. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
with
"Ooh,
your
I fuck with you the
communication.
But
long
you
way.
don't
I
need
love
to-
you." And then that's
Your
it.
man?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
He
I'm
like that
glad.
shit.
I'm with you. That's how I feel.
But you are also very expressive. So even if your words aren't matching what somebody probably needs to hear, your actions are.
Yeah,
Right.
I
You know what
said
I'm
and I'm
saying?
naked.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
But and that could be how you were raised. I know for me personally, I was raised in an environment where we didn't say I love you in the household. Like not my grandparents,
Oh.
not my grandma, like not my grandparents, not my parents, like my aunts, my uncles. Like we just as a family did not say that. I come from
Mhm.
a large family though. My mom is the baby out of 14. So, you know, a really big family, you don't always get that I love you every day. So that wasn't said in my household. So when I got in relationships, as I got older into like college and stuff, I didn't know how to say I love you. People would tell me that I was in relationships with, like, I love you, and I would say, you too. Or I would say,
I would be so hurt.
But I think
I'm serious.
But I love you can be I fuck with you. Some people say that so just cavalier.
You
So
don't put
I
I in
feel
it. If you
like
don't
I
put
fuck
I in
with
front of
you-
I love you in the text, I feel like you don't love
I
me.
feel like you're being shady. If you don't
If
say
you put,
I
like-
love you.
if you put, like,
you're
love
being
you
shady.
too.
Yeah.
Really?
Without the I.
I know a lot of people
you
have
say
that kind of
love you.
complex. A lot of people have that complex, but for me, I feel like there are different phases of love. And if somebody tells me that they love me, I can honestly just say it back. And it doesn't mean romantically. It doesn't mean that I love you the same way I love my mama.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything like that. I love you for who you are.
Right.
I love you for the person that you are in my life.
Well,
Oh,
that's a good
sweet,
point.
Deontay.
But
You
you
so
gotta
nice.
communicate that,
Because I
Right.
don't.
Yeah, like I love you as a couch
Right,
potato.
because now I think you love me like we
A
fuck
sister.
with each other, and now
Right.
you over here loving me like a friend. I'm loving
That's
you
the
like
shit
I
we're
love
talking
you.
about that
what?
men
No,
do.
exactly.
Oh yeah, I do love you. I love you. I don't love you like my
And then
mom.
now
Oh,
I'm
thank-
thin line
Can
between
we
love
stop
and
the
hate
show
your
right
ass.
now? Because
Right,
I'm
because
finna
don't
thin
compare
line
me to your
between love and
mama.
hate
we
your
have to
ass.
talk about this.
That's that thin line between
We
love
gotta
and
talk
hate
about
shit.
this
And then
because-
she tried to kill your ass because you told her you love her.
In one of my relationships, it was always comparisons between the love for me and the love for family. And I'm just like, it's not the same. You
Not the
have to
same.
stop
It shouldn't be the same.
comparing.
Yeah, it's
and
not the same.
It should not
Oh.
even be a comparison. Like, I want you to love your family because I'm family oriented. I want you to love your family hard. I want you to go. I don't talk to my brother every single day because my brother is a very person he's very introverted to himself. He doesn't like to talk a lot. That's his personality. I know that as we get older, we do communicate more and we talk more and we talk, on a deeper level more. But it may not ever be the type of relationship with my brother like where we talk every single day because that's just not who my brother is as a person. But even in that situation, you can't compare my situation like with my brother to like well, I talk to my brother every single day, so that means like you and your brother, y'all aren't like that close. And it's just like, well, that does not what that really means.
Right.
That could just means like you have to know the people that you're dealing with.
Mhm.
So like I think when you're in relationships, it's very important to focus on people's position in your life. Like family and your lover are not the same. What you can get from your lover, you're not going to get from your family. What you get from
That's
your
true.
family, you're not going to get from your lover.
Right.
And if you're trying to
would hope
compare the two, right.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to compare the two and you're like,
Very weird.
well, I'm missing out on like family stuff because I'm with you. Well, that's the thing about balance. That's not really a thing about loving somebody more or somebody not wanting you to be around your family. It's just about planning and actually communicating like what's going on and being able to balance. I've heard this not even in just like my recent relationship. I've heard this like even in past relationships where people will say like, well, oh, this one relationship I was in, y'all. Sorry, it just hit me.
Ooh, child, here we go.
It was really this type of situation too, but it wasn't family, it was friends, right? So I was with someone who really valued their friends, which I love. I value all of my friends. I love all of y'all. Like I would go out of my way to do whatever y'all needed me to do for y'all at whatever time of the day. But they felt like if they had a man, that their friends still needed to come first because their friends been there and you haven't been there. How do
I
y'all
don't
feel
like
about that? I don't like that. It's childish.
The last situation I
Yeah,
was in,
that's-
he was kind of like that. Well, my friend's been here like 15 plus years.
But that's a dumb
that's
statement to make.
different.
I'm
A
your,
lot
I'm
of
trying
like,
to be
I
your
really
lover.
fuck with you.
Right.
Yeah,
use that term.
I mean,
Fuck with you, though.
See, I
I don't like
told
it because
you.
it's a comparison. Like it's just a comparison. For me, anyone who is going to compare me or anyone who compares people, especially if your relationship is not different, I don't even care if it's friend to friend.
Right.
Don't compare your friends to each other because my
Mhm.
relationship with you is different from my relationship with you.
Exactly.
You know,
Absolutely.
I know of a situation where someone was with someone, and
Two people were together.
that's a better way to say it.
Right. I know a situation where two humans got together.
Right, because the other way sounds shady as fuck. I was like, ooh, tell me more. Where's the tea?
You know what? I'm actually gonna pass on that story.
Don't be
wanna
scared
hear it.
now.
Let's get into
Spill
the
the
smoke.
tea.
Come on.
Right.
Nah, basically the same thing happened, but it's
Right.
just like my relationship with this person is way different from your
Mhm.
relationship with this person, as
Right.
it should be.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and for me, that's a red flag. I'm sorry.
But
Yeah.
you cannot say just because you knew somebody for 15 years, when a person loves a person, like you're dating this person, if something happened to you, like I'm there just as quick
Period.
as the person that was
Period.
in your life
Right.
15 years. So if you like, oh, I got to go do this for my friend. They've been there for me 15 plus years. I'm going to cancel our plans because that's my friend. It's like, well, what the fuck do I mean to you?
Right.
Right.
Because it should not
And
be
that's
a
the question.
comparison.
It should be
But
a
people are
comparison.
comfortable.
Men
that's,
do that,
That's
I feel
really what
like.
it is comfortability. Because
Yeah.
Get more
I've
into
had that. I've had that same discussion in my current relationship actually, but it's just more like people will feel like, okay, well, this person has been there. I just met you.
Right.
So then for them, it's like you at any moment, I don't know, but I got 15
You can switch up.
I
years
literally have heard
of
that.
comfortability with this person. So I already know how to deal with them, how to, whatever. I know where we stand in our
Mhm.
friendship. I know how to manage it. We done had our fights, our up and downs, or whatever. I got to get there with you. And I mean, even though it is a problem, but some people just feel comfortable with that.
It's
And
all about priority because I
Yeah.
know people in the opposite that when they get in the relationship, they completely forget about their friends.
exactly.
Right.
So it's about priorities.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that one person is above the priorities. It's about just a balance, to your point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's because we know people a lot that'd be like, oh, my man, my man, my man, my man, my man. And it's like, well, bitch, I don't give a fuck about your man.
Now,
That
if,
bullshit.
if any shade trying to be thrown, I was always
No,
like that.
no, I'm not even
But-
throwing
oh,
shade at you.
okay.
I'm just saying, like,
Fuck
people
your
be
man.
like,
No,
my man, my man, my man.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
it's not about you. It's not about any. It's
Right.
people do that shit.
Exactly.
They do that, but
They do.
I've always prided myself on. My friends gonna always be here. I may not hang with them every day like I did
my
before
man
I
is
was in a relationship, but I'm not gonna ever shade my friends. And I'm not,
Right.
and I same equally, my friends are never gonna shade anyone that I'm ever with. Y'all know how I am. Y'all try to shade my man, I'm gonna go
I don't
off.
play by my man.
I'll be quiet.
That's how it is. That's just how I am. I feel like
He
it's
my
gotta
man
be.
for 3 months, but I
It,
don't
it's
play
just
by
gotta.
But I
right.
love him.
But I love
Because
him.
it gotta be respect both ways. I wouldn't let them talk about
Right.
you, and I don't
Yes.
want to let you talk about them. So just
Yes.
because
Right.
they are new in my life, and you feel like you've been here for 10 years and we've been friends, you're not gonna
Yeah.
talk about them though.
Yeah.
I'm
But be careful what
curious.
you share with me, because don't share no fuck shit and think I'm just gonna sit
See,
here as a
yeah.
friend and be
That's
like,
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
You know,
that was
that's
my
true.
question. Like when you're in a relationship and you want your friends around your significant other, like
Mhm.
you should.
Mhm.
Shouldn't they have if you respect their opinions,
Uh-huh.
wouldn't you want them to share it? And where's the line of them sharing their opinions and then people becoming uncomfortable and now you're like, oh, you shading my man.
If I
Where's
asked
the-
you,
Where's the
I
line?
think it's delivery.
yeah,
It's
Delivery
deliberate.
and tone.
You just got to be
Timing.
respectful
Because
about
you can
it.
say, I don't like how he did X, Y, and Z. Or you can say, he a fuck nigga.
He
You
a
shouldn't
fuck
did that
nigga.
whole ass
Exactly.
shit.
You took the words right out my mouth.
yeah, and it's also timing, because
Yeah.
me and Andrea actually had an issue like this one time where she probably don't even remember, but we
I'm
were at
sure
the
I don't.
house and
On New Year's Day.
I don't think it was New Year's Day. It was
Because y'all know I just be
it was
talking.
my birthday. It was my birthday.
Okay.
And we were around the counter, and I had made one of my friends had asked me like, "What do you love about your new relationship?" And I was just like, "Oh, we have so much fun, and like we just like I love the fact that like we can go out or we can stay at home, we can like drink, and then this bitch gonna stop the show and say." Well, let me ask you
Clear
something.
my
I
throat.
hope that next year by this time when you're talking about your relationship, that it's not about alcohol. And I was just like, well, girl, that's probably not the best time to bring that
Yeah.
up in front of a group of
I was there
people.
for that. I
I'm
was.
like, okay, I understand your opinion,
I'm
but
sorry.
don't say that in front of the group of people, because these other bitches don't know what you know probably, or like they don't even know this person, so don't give them like a bad, like, I guess, perception of someone before they can make the perception on their own. I didn't really trip about it because I just know that's how Andrea is.
But you got to get me together because I will just say stuff
She
and
do.
not think about it. But the thing
Yeah, I'm that
is,
friend, too.
people should know that about me, that I'm not intentionally
Right, it's not
hurting your
malice.
feelings. It's not
Yeah.
malice
Right.
Yeah.
at all.
Right.
But
Yeah.
sometimes you got to get me together quick.
But then
Really?
sometimes friends need to know how to mind their business too. Like even if I
Right.
come to you as a friend and I'm venting to you about my situation, right? It is not your place to change my mind at the end of the day about the person that I'm with, right?
Mhm.
If I don't ask you your opinion, and this is what I have to tell my friends at one point. If I don't ask, like me, you can come to me about your relationship. I will listen. I will be there for you. I would not say a word to you unless you say, well, what you think? Then I may start going in. If you don't ask me what I think, Deontay, you're good about that too.
Yeah.
Deontay's
Yeah.
my friend that I can tell
But that's
anything
you.
to.
Yeah.
This one-
Well,
Okay.
Therapist stepping in.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to communicate that at the beginning. Like, look, I just need you to listen. Because not everybody's gonna think
Okay.
like that from
Okay,
your
this is good for
standpoint.
me.
Because if we having just a conversation with amongst my friends, that means shit, the door open.
it is.
Because
yeah.
if you're not saying like, hey, I like friend, look, I'm just having a moment and I just want to vent. I just need you to listen.
Okay.
And you kind of know, like for me, I have my certain friends. I know I can talk to her about this. I know if I go talk to this motherfucker, I'm gonna have to hear the mama lecture. If I go talk to this person, she gonna stare at me because she really don't give a fuck. So you gotta kind of know who to talk
That's
to
me.
too.
You
So I
do.
think if you don't necessarily know your friends to that capability,
That's
I think
true.
you should lead with like, look, I just want you to listen. I don't want to hear shit that you got to say. So that
Right.
way it shuts that shit down so it don't
Yeah.
even take a chance of it happening.
That's good for me because maybe I should, like, in situations, not even just relationships, but in a situation where I don't really need feedback, I need to just vent. But then I feel like my friends should know me enough to know. No, let me finish. I feel like my friends should know me enough to know. A lot of times, I just like to vent, but once I get it out, I won't bring it back up, and then I may actually, like, if I've been about a man, I may be with this motherfucker tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like you should know me enough to know, like, oh, this is just Ricky. He just be venting. Let me just listen. But sometimes I did have this one friendship where, because I wasn't taking their advice about what they were giving me, it became a problem in our friendship. And that's when I'm like, okay, what I'm dealing with personally in my
because they was tired of
relationship.
you venting. That's what I
then
mean
just
about
tell me that. Say, well,
No,
don't vent to
Some
me.
people might not want to hurt your feelings.
Right. So but that's what I'm saying. Sometimes that comes out in the midst of like you said, it's like you think I should know you as my friend.
Right.
But at some point, am I trying to be a good friend? But a year I've been hearing about this shit all year.
Right.
At some point, goddamn, Ricky, just leave the nigga alone.
And I would respect that if there is a conversation that's like, okay, like if you I may not
have a conversation at the moment. You could just catch me at a bad day.
Right, but I'm just saying at some point, even if it's not that day, you need to come to me and say, like, okay, I love you, friend, but I've said this to my friends before. I literally said this to one of my really good friends. Lisa, no, I'm not lying. I said, if you stay and what's going on continues to happen, I just don't want to hear about it because now it's become
Right.
emotionally burdened on me.
Right.
Definitely.
So,
said
but
that.
have that conversation with me because I'm a very transparent, upfront person. So I expect my friends to also be very transparent and upfront
But
with
you
me
can't.
too. You can't expect
we
people.
had this conversation.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to.
Well, me and Teresa, we had
we
a big
had a
falling
whole
out one time.
argument.
Me and
like,
Teresa,
blew
we
up.
almost
Right.
we've been friends since 6th grade, and that was
That
the
was our
one
first
fight that
argument.
I actually thought we were not gonna be friends
Yeah.
anymore. Because the bitch was talking about my man, and I was like, no, bitch, you're not gonna talk about my motherfucking man. I don't give a fuck how long I know you bitch. You gonna have to. It's just like we didn't be
it's a
friends
good
no more. We just gonna be
expectation.
friends, and I was just like,
But we're all
bitch, I didn't go that far.
Yeah. Everybody,
Ricky's
you gotta
like,
look at
wait,
the
what?
individual.
I was so confused.
How did we get that far? I was like, well, if we don't need to be
Cause
friends,
Lisa was like,
we
well,
don't have to be
if you
friends.
don't want to be, if we don't want to be my friend no more, cause I said this, yeah, we're gonna be friends. I was just like, well,
She
I
was
wasn't
standing on
taking
her
it
shit.
I don't know if it was
like, well,
like
it
Sunday or
wasn't that
Saturday
deep, baby.
morning.
I just don't talk about my motherfucking man. That's all
I'm in
I
his
said.
house telling him what he needs to do. Y'all know how I spend the night. I wake up in the morning. We going back and forth about this shit.
And then, but we got over
we got
though.
over it
We
that
got
day.
over the same day, and that's how I feel like relationships are too. With anybody, you should be able to have those big blow ups
Yeah.
and be able to come back together and say like, okay, but I know your intentions for me. I know what you told me. It may have come off harsh, but I know you love
And
me.
you didn't want to hear it in that moment.
Right. But because I know you love me, I've taken a step back. I've thought about it. I
Mm-hmm.
processed it, and I know that you didn't mean any harm. But a lot of people don't have that capacity
I don't
to
think
do
none
that.
of us like to listen when it comes to a man.
Mm-mm.
Anyways.
That's what I said. We just all individuals. So.
Mhm.
What you about to say, Deontay?
Deontay, wait to say something like Deontay.
No, I think I think a lot of people are just stubborn when it comes to conflict.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people just don't want to be wrong. So when it comes to like argument, you know, a person can give you 100 facts on why they're right, and you actually agree with them, but a lot of people won't even admit it just because they just don't want to be wrong.
Mm.
Okay.
Like that's just the bottom line.
Okay, like you saying, like they don't want to be wrong, like about what their friend is saying. They know it's true. They just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that moment.
I don't
Yeah.
want to be wrong by nothing.
That used to be
Or
me.
about anything. Yeah. You just don't
Yeah,
want
I
to
don't
be
think
wrong.
I get
I
down
don't
about
care.
that.
Yeah,
You
now
just
I'm
don't
like
want to be
past
wrong.
that.
But I will say, like you said, it's all about delivery.
Mhm.
Like I would have no problem with a friend coming to me saying, "Hey, Deontay, you know, old dude, I don't like him because of X, Y, and Z." I would have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
If he came to me in a private setting,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and really expressed himself and told me why they didn't like the person,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just saying he a fuck nigga.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
Give me a reason why.
Why?
You know?
Right.
Fuck
Right.
Exactly. Give me a reason why. It's kind of like, you know, like when you bring your significant other home to your
Mhm.
parent, and your parents just don't like them,
Right.
and they
Why?
being all mean and shit, and it's just
Mhm.
like, well, why you don't like them? You know, like give me a reason.
Give me a
like,
reason.
like tell me why you don't like them. If you just don't like
Yeah.
them, tell me that.
Thank you.
Right.
Like tell me that.
It's messed up because I usually be the fuck nigga.
Yeah.
And it's not like even like I cheat,
Because like,
but
yeah.
like I really sit back and like God has blessed me with some good men that have come my way, but I be coming with some problems.
That's
the
life.
problem.
I'm the
That's
pro-
life.
I really have to sit back and say, bitch, it's you. Like,
That's life.
you are the problem. Like
and
I
that's
really
good that
have
you
to-
know that
That's
though.
good.
Now that I
Yeah.
know that, I'm like, these are things I have to work
That
on
means you
because
can heal.
yeah,
Right.
I've healed from it. I
Yeah.
feel like I've lost some good people, but I guess I had to lose some good people to like work on me.
Can I ask you something?
Mhm.
Do you feel like you've ever repeated the same problem twice?
I don't feel like no. I feel like I still had something there because I used to fight men. I'm not gonna lie. Like if I get mad, I'm gonna hit you. That was my thing. So
Yeah.
I took a step back from like dating for years, right?
I'm just looking at you
Like-
because you felt that in your
And
soul.
my last
Shut up, Ricky,
situation
quit
was
reading
like,
me over here.
no, like my last situation, I was like, I wasn't quick to like hit, but I realized I still had this issue with authority.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like with men telling me like, I feel like you telling me what to do. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like I didn't snap, but I still say, hey, watch it. chill before I feel myself like, my skin boiling. Like I don't want to do something, but I still lost that person because a little of that was still there.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's when I realized, okay, like the guy would say, "Oh, you got daddy issues," and I'm like, "No, I don't. Like my daddy treat me good. Like my grandfather treat me well. Like they don't talk to me crazy." But then like when I sit back and I start journaling, I'm like, "Damn, I got daddy issues." Like me and my stepdad, I hate my stepdad. Like back in the day, like
Yeah.
I pride myself on I would never date a guy that tell me I gotta cook, clean because the way he treated me growing up. I was like, I don't want to marry. I don't want to marry a man. I don't want to be submissive. I don't want to fold your clothes. I don't want to do none of that shit. Like, I just want to be independent. I don't need a man.
Mm-hmm.
But I buried that so, deep down that I really didn't think about it until I was put in a situation with a guy that he's like, I care about you. So when I ask you to do something, why is it that you're getting angry? And I'm like, I'm getting angry? Like, I didn't realize, like, I'm really getting angry. But I was like, okay, I do have problems with authority.
What you want to say?
And so
I want to say, look
really
at that
had to sit back.
growth.
Yeah, I was like, dang, like this
Oh, you
is
see my little therapy
something I
room?
had to like
Right.
work on. Like it's
That's not daddy issues. That's just trauma within yourself.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with your daddy. That's just you and your own authoritative mindset that you
Mhm.
refuse to accept that you don't not taking orders from somebody. That's not necessarily daddy issues.
yeah.
Well,
I had
because do you have the
authority. I had a
same-
problem with authority from
I think
men.
people have
Oh, I was gonna say, do you have the
misunderstanding
same
of what.
with men versus women?
Yeah,
Yeah.
women it's okay. It's just men.
Right.
And like I was telling Rika when I got put in this position where working with the Nigerians, I was the only woman. I was like, that's challenging because Nigerians are very
Right, I
like,
would say that's weird. And you said you like,
Yes.
that's why I don't. When you talk about you
First
like
2
Africans,
weeks, I called
that's
my
why we
granddad
don't get along.
crying.
Because
Yeah.
who the fuck is you talking to?
Right. That's why I don't like them.
But what's crazy is that's the
Then
type
y'all
of
know what
man I
else.
like y'all. Like y'all know now. Like I love African men, and my mom's like, "You ain't submissive. Like how do you like African men? Like you have to be submissive." I'm like, I'm not the same person. Like that little girl inside of me, like desires to be submissive. I just kind of
That just means you
Put
wasn't
these
heard
layers
as a
on.
child.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You wasn't heard as a child. So
Yeah.
anybody that's not hearing you, it's an issue.
Yeah,
That's
it
not
was
a
even
daddy
started
issue.
my mom. So yeah, I did have problems with that. So I'm like, dang, I've healed from that, but I had to lose people
Yeah.
just because I didn't realize that I had that problem.
And when you find, I think too, in situations like that, is also has a lot to do with finding the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm very dominant. I have a very dominant personality. I've been in a situation where I've had to, like, I've had to be in like an adult since I was like 10, basically, in a
Mhm.
sense. So like I've grown up in like an adult mind frame. Like I didn't really have much of a childhood in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I got younger brothers, and I've always been in that parental role.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I tell people all the time, like, one of the first things that I tell, or two things I tell people is that I'm not mad, I just look like this. And that if I tell you to do something, I promise you I'm asking. But I tend to say, hey, I mean, like, Andrea, go get me some water. But in my mind, I'm really, so if you be like, bitch, I'm not getting you no water, like, I'll be like, oh, okay. But I don't take it as I'm being demanding,
Right.
but my words are. And I had
Right.
to decipher that and be like, okay, bitch, you can't talk to people like that. But it's because that's how I was raised in a situation where I could talk to people like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I found that person, like, I shaped that shit up with. I'm like, I follow this man to Africa if that's where he wants to go. But it's just, I think when you find that person,
Yeah.
it'll
You'll do
just come
anything.
easy.
But then I
Yeah.
think also, because me and Jaleesa talk about this a lot too, which is when you feel like, so I feel like people have unrealistic expectations of relationships. They
Mhm.
feel like
I will agree.
if you argue, you're not my person. You're not for me. Because you like to argue. You like to argue. Your ass is talking about the
All
dishes. Your ass is
African
complaining that I didn't call you. So it's like, I think people have unrealistic expectations about how relationships
About
work.
a healthy relationship.
Right, because a healthy relationship, you are going to go through some
Disagreement.
terrible things, though. Like sometimes you're gonna, if you're friends with somebody or in a relationship with somebody long enough, you are gonna go through hell sometimes. And if you cannot both come to an agreement to fix the shit,
Mm-hmm.
that's not good. Because as adults, we give everybody else grace sometimes, but the people that we actually love the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody fucks up in our lives that we really love, it's like off with the bitch head. But then somebody that you just met, like maybe 2 months ago, can do some fucked up shit to you, and you'll be like, well, she didn't really know me like that, or he didn't really know me like that. So like, it's cool. Like I'm gonna give the bitch another chance.
Mm,
But No, well, you don't. Well, I feel like I think you are more like. But when I don't know a lot about your personal life, but I feel like you are more like assured of yourself. So that's probably certain things that like when people do to you, like it's just like a hard no, like you just move the fuck on and you just don't, right?
It's a certain level of
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you do that?
I just
But everybody's not there in life
I'm
though
just
either.
getting there. Like,
and it's not. I don't even think that's necessarily about being sure of myself. I think it has a lot to do with my own, like you say, personal life and background.
Mhm,
Me not having stability growing up,
mhm.
I value certain people. So in the midst of that, I don't just put anybody in my circle. So that's part of it. Like I'm gonna be
Right.
side-eyeing you and getting to know you first, like before, and then once I put you there, it's understood. Like,
Right.
bitch, I don't fuck with a lot of people. So let's be very clear from the jump.
Right,
So then when you start doing stuff, then I can show you grace because we have
Right.
established that.
right.
But like you say, meeting somebody, I'm already side-eyeing you, so you can do one thing and just fuck you,
Yeah,
bitch. I
yeah,
don't,
okay.
you know?
Right. But I guess because I'm just like you, like I don't, when I meet people, I always say like, what's your first impression of me? And most people will say like, I feel like you really didn't fuck with me at first. Like if I have my friends around, they will say that. Now, if I met them like in a one-on-one setting, they may say like, oh, you were really nice to me. But like if I met you and I had my friends around me, the tone is going to be that, oh, I felt like you didn't fuck with me at first. And I would say, why did you feel like that? Well, it was just very apparent that like those were like your people, and like you was nice, but you made it clear like I'm not looking for no new friends. I don't fuck with you. I
See,
do,
that goes back to comfortability.
yeah, and I think I know I'm like that,
Yeah.
but because I also do value friendships. When I put you in my life, in my space, I really fuck with you, and I really value you. And so if you fuck up and I have you in that space in my life, it is not easy for me to get rid of you.
Right.
So some people, and Angela's talked about this too earlier even, some people don't know what a lot of people don't know what unconditional love is.
No.
So they take unconditional love or loving radically as like, you're obsessed with me, or like, oh, you must don't love yourself because like, why would you deal with that? And it's just like, well, no, sometimes it's like, I see a better person in this person. So instead of me giving up on them, I'm going to work with them and see, like, can we get past it? And I know, Jaleesa, you were telling me earlier how you always felt like people just give up, right?
Mhm.
And they don't really, like, stick it through and try to really get to peel those layers back from you.
Right.
But I feel like I'm the opposite. I actually stay in shit way longer than what I probably need to because I actually want to give you the chance to prove to me the person I really see in you. And I think sometimes you can be called dumb bitch for that. Sometimes people will say like, oh, well, you must like, okay, like what you got going on? Because, but it's not that. It's just I've been that person who fucked up before. And people have walked away from me. And I was like, damn, they could have just gave me another chance. I would have fixed that,
That's
right?
exactly what I was going to say. That's what I
Yeah.
tell people that potential is. Potential is what you would do in that situation.
Mhm.
So that's what you see. You see, if that was me, I would want you to give me this grace.
Right.
So typically, and that's like love when it comes to love languages in relationship, we love people per our love language.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of times what is the problem with relationships is because like my love language is acts of services and my least is physical. So if I get somebody whose top is physical and all you want to do is hug and touch on me, like get the fuck on. Like, you know, people be like, you're not affectionate. It's not that I'm not, but it's just like, I don't want to beat you all touching on me and shit all the time. You know, go wash some dishes or something, because that's what my love language is.
You guys want to say so bad. Look.
So that's what I mean. But like, you just gotta, it's a lot of the variables there to where, like you say, we typically do things from our version of what we like and how we see it. And that's why a lot of times we can have these conversations and debates, but they're from our perception.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I always say perception is everything.
You do say that. So your love language is acts of services. What's yours?
I don't know.
There's
What?
a test. So there's a test, 5 love languages you can take online.
So go through them all.
Yeah, I would
go
say
through
the
all
same.
of them.
There's acts of services, words of affirmation, quality time,
Physical
gifts,
touch.
and physical touch.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the affirmation?
But you can't be just guessing. There's a test.
Me and my ex took it, and it was like the acts of service and words of affirmation.
Okay.
Mine is definitely quality
I
time.
feel like it was a bullshit test.
Why?
Keep asking the same damn question over and over.
Well, wants to make sure that your ass wasn't lying the first time.
Make sure
you
you're not
lied.
lying.
Well, like, it rearranges them if you notice. Like, it is a similar
I
question.
think
but
all of them are mine. Like I need you to do
Well, you
all
do
of
have
this.
ones that you value
Same.
more
Right.
though.
I'm about to
Right.
say,
'Cause, like,
yeah,
I don't-
everybody has
Everybody
like all
likes
of them.
all of them, but
Right.
you just value
It's
some
the
more than
words
others.
then.
Well, because I really value quality time over everything, anything
Okay, I
else.
like quality time a lot too, though.
And that's why you should take the damn test. The
Yeah, you
bullshit
took
ass
it.
test.
Because we took it, and
You know,
didn't,
the
so-
hard version of me, I would say I don't like quality time, but I like quality time. It's so refreshing.
I love quality time, but my least favorite is probably acts of services. Because
Really?
yeah, but I will fall into that role if that's yours. But I don't want to be going out and doing shit and having to put myself out of the way to do shit for you, especially if you're not doing the shit for me. Because yours may not. Because even though your love language would be acts of services, you may be the type of person who don't like to do anything for anybody. But I still gotta handle.
You
I
do
gotta
for
still
me,
be
I
there
do
for
for
your
you.
needs.
Right.
But that's not how it always goes though in relationships. So you have to kind of like pick and choose how
Yeah,
you're gonna
I'm choosing to
navigate,
exit.
right? What's yours, Deontay?
Mine is my first one is physical touch, and the second one is words of affirmation.
Deontay's is definitely physical touch. When he come in, he gonna hug you. He gonna, and he know me. I be like this.
You like to be touched on. Andrea?
Gifts.
Touch.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
She like
gifts.
gifts.
I love
like
a
gifts.
gift.
And I always,
she like the gifts?
tell people
yeah.
that like
Yeah,
a lot of
love
times
gifts.
people are
You're
not
spoiled.
gold
I
diggers.
am.
like that.
I am.
Their love
spoiled.
language is actually gifts.
Gifts.
But people
I
take
love it.
gifts to the extreme. Sometimes you could just put a sticky note in a lunchbox.
Now it can be
It
really
can be
simple.
really
it can be
small.
really simple,
Yeah.
but it
Like
can
that.
also be very grand. I like.
Yeah. She's very spoiled, you guys.
I like
It is
all
what
of
it
the
is,
above,
kinda how
but
you
that's
see
how I
it.
was raised. I
Right.
mean, I would
Yes.
get Valentine's Day presents from my
Me
family. I
too.
would get Easter baskets. I would get
It's
all of the
definitely gifted,
things.
baby.
Like
I'm trying to
my
figure out where
dad
I'm
Baby,
would.
she is smiling. From
Like
ear to
I
ear.
love me a gift.
Yeah, it's the glow for me. It's
I
the
love me a
glow.
gift.
And I don't give a
y'all.
fuck about a
Buy
gift.
me a gift and see what happens.
I mean, I like a little
Make
gift.
it good,
Now. I like a
though.
little gift every now and then. I like a little gift.
I don't
Make
give
it good.
I honestly
Naked.
could give two shits about a gift because my thing is I don't, and this goes back to my trauma. I don't give a fuck about no gift because I don't want nobody, no niggas especially, giving me shit that you now feel like I owe you anything
Oh
back.
no.
no! Oh no! I said a
You not
gift.
getting
You
it
ain't getting
back.
nothing back.
Well, some
That's
people
why
like
I don't
that.
like
Y'all,
acts
I
of
just start
service.
giving.
That's why
when
you
I
don't
messed
like-
up,
yeah.
I
That's
got
why I
a
don't like
little
acts of
support.
arrangement.
You can
I
emotionally
don't know if that
support.
was like too much.
Well, Deontay, you are very emotionally
But I
supportive.
messed up.
Yeah, I am. I'm emotionally
like for
supportive,
example, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
but when we had a conversation just the other day, and I was telling you, I have a problem with people doing things for me.
Yeah, me too.
Like I have a problem with like
Yeah.
accepting things or
Mhm.
accepting help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
Asking
me
for
too.
help and accepting
Mhm,
help. So
mhm.
acts of service and gift receiving, it's on the bottom of my list because
Yes.
of that reason.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I owe you anything, even if you don't do
Yep.
anything.
Mhm.
It'll be my conscience.
Mhm.
Or sometimes you just might be a hoe ass nigga, and you
Yeah.
might like hint at the fact of like, oh well, I did this for you.
Mhm.
You owe me this.
I think
Or
that's
Oh, yeah, and I don't ever
I
want
think
nobody to
people
feel
are
that
like
way.
that.
That's
But like
trauma,
one,
though.
I don't owe you
something
shit.
so small that was like not
nothing.
even
I don't
given,
owe
but
you
like
anything.
I remember the very beginning of my relationship. So I don't like public speaking because I have
Yeah.
in my mind I have poor grammar. But now I've been like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. But like,
Right.
I really don't like public speaking. So I remember the first time I got asked to do something, but it was during COVID, so it was like Zoom. So I was like, okay, I'll agree because it's Zoom, no big deal. And so my dude was like, you'll be all right, like just do it. And I was like, man, like of course you just saying that shit because you my nigga trying to be,
Right.
He like, man, shut the fuck up, you'll be all right, you can do it. So I'm like, okay, well I'll call you back. And he was like, nah, just put me on your little thing. And I was like, what? He was like, your ring light. So I literally put him on the ring light
Aw,
as
that's
that I'm on
sweet.
the, my laptop or
Mhm.
whatever. And he sat through the whole thing, like, and I'm looking at him for like reassurance, like that's acts of service to me.
Mhm.
Like that was so supportive, and like you
that
were
is
there,
acts of service. Yeah.
and you didn't do anything. You just was there.
You did
you
a
know?
lot.
It's hard
Yeah.
to find people though who don't have the same love language as you do.
And the funny, we have
And
the
hidden
same love
agendas.
language.
Right, who don't have the same. I don't want you to have the same love language.
It's
as
good
me,
if you do.
but I don't
Right.
need you to do that. I just need you to understand the importance of my love language.
Right.
I
Like,
don't want you to have it as me. I'm expensive.
Yeah.
But that don't mean he'll receive
She
it in the
gives
same
expensive
way.
gifts.
Right, you may
to you.
receive.
Right.
He may
I just say it's only good because it's easy because we
That's
love people per our love language.
That's true.
So naturally, if like somebody that's physical touch, if you constantly touching on me, you're gonna feel like my daughter's dad. Like, quit fucking touching me. Like that was his love language. He always be
Right.
like, you're not affectionate. No, motherfucker, I just don't want you touching
Yeah, I
me.
used to-
But it's
Yeah.
not that I didn't. I mean, because we had sex, got a whole kid. But it was just
Right.
like, it's not that I couldn't be
Being
intimate.
affectionate
Right.
sex
Yeah.
is totally
It's
different.
not-
Yeah.
And then my daughter's like that. Like, I
Legs up. Just put my legs
like,
up.
I feel like a
Yeah.
bad mom sometimes because hers is words of affirmation and
Oh, I love
physical
forehead
touch my
kisses.
daughter. But like, I'm an aggressive speaker
She's just
too.
thinking about somebody.
So
She over here thinking about somebody. I love forehead kisses.
I'm
This
over
bitch
here
has never said that
reminiscing.
ever.
she trying to figure out her love language.
Hey, you
Shit.
must like somebody.
Like,
But
Damn,
hold
me
on,
too.
y'all, because actually, I'm sorry. This is the end of the first part of this episode.
I had a question though.
No, we're
We
gonna
still
come
got
back
second
in 2
part.
weeks, and
2
you'll
weeks?
get to see what.
With this thing, you know.
We're coming back in 2 weeks, and you'll get to see the remaining part of this episode.
Damn.
So subscribe to YouTube and all of the major platforms out there, and we will be back in 2 weeks.
Cause Ricky be talking.
Right.
And that's
Hey.
right. Thank you.
Beyonce.